Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the slap heard around the world, which is the slap that Will Smith did on Chris Rock in the most recent Oscars. If you're new to the ArmaniTalks brand, there's a few soft skills that I discuss in my content. And the soft skills include concentration, public speaking, storytelling, social skills, creativity, and emotional intelligence. And this is the world that we're deep diving into today. The slap can teach you a lot about emotional intelligence. And what I want to do is give you a couple of timeless principles that you can extract from this moment and apply it to your life. So you are leveling up as a person and you are in charge of your emotions. If you're ready and excited for today's talk, go on and drop that like for me right on below. And if you're new to the channel, go on and drop that subscribe for me right on below. The first lesson that you want to understand is that in the land of emotions, there is no such thing as time. What happened in your childhood can easily influence your adulthood. For some strange reason last week, I got hyper curious about Will Smith's new book, Will, and it's a fantastic book. It's great to understand the psyche of such a superstar. And as I'm reading the book, I'm pretty much thinking that it's just going to be a big talk about him being the man. But that's not the case. It starts off rather dark. And one of the dark parts he talks about is his love-hate relationship with his father. He loved his dad because his dad was so consistent, such a hard worker, and always showed up. But he hated his father because he was such an alcoholic. And whenever he would drink a lot, he would get angry. And whenever he would get angry, he would get abusive towards Will's mom. There was one time that the dad hit the mom so hard that she started to bleed from the mouth. Will's two siblings went to protect her, while Will did nothing. His siblings viewed him as a coward, and Will viewed himself as a coward. That was one of those moments that sparked his journey towards becoming a superstar. There was one state where he felt helpless, and he wanted himself to be in a state where he was powerful. And that's when he was maximizing his traits in acting, comedy, rapping, etc. But it all stemmed from being a coward for not sticking up for his mom. Now let's come back to the present moment. When the whole ordeal happened yesterday, what I noticed was in the beginning of Chris Rock making a joke about Jada Smith, Will was laughing. But as the camera starts to go away, that's when I see Jada Smith's body language getting agitated, and she wasn't happy. And once he saw that, he went into a completely different mode. Childhood is now manifesting into adulthood. What I believe happened is that narrative of him being a child where he wished that he protected a woman that he loved suddenly took up life in adulthood, where he saw that someone was picking on the woman that he loved. He initially thought she was having a fun time, but from the body language, she looked agitated. And that's when he became a completely different person. That's when the slap happened. In some ways, I believe he was slapping his father who was hitting his mom. And it was happening in such a subconscious state that it happened rapidly. This is the thing with emotions. The more that you try to run away from it, the more that it builds the danger of it coming out when you're least expecting it. I mean, this is an esteemed actor who behaved like this in a live Oscars. Just imagine. So with emotional intelligence, time doesn't exist. What you want to do is you want to incrementally understand yourself on a deeper level. The more you run away from your emotions, the worse off it is for you. The more you run towards your emotions, the better off it is for you. The second insight in regards to emotional intelligence that I learned from Will Smith's book, and just Will Smith as a person, is that in this book, he talks a lot about his personal life, where in terms of his professional life, I've always had the utmost respect for him. I think he's a hard worker, I think he's disciplined, and I think he's highly versatile. But in his personal life, there was this one line where he talks about how he got a lot of his self-esteem based off of the perception that his woman had of him. Here's the risk with that. Whenever you're making other people the focal point of your life, what happens is that you are naturally making the mind much more reactive. The mind is meant to dwell on concepts, not people. Concepts are ideas on projects that you're working on, things that you have more control over, that you are actively participating on the creation of. But when you're over here dwelling on people, no matter how noble the intent is, let's say you love this person and you keep on dwelling on this person, it's still not good because you're over here possibly becoming overbearing to that person. And also, they're going to get a whole bunch of reactions out of you. A lot of the times that Will Smith is on media for negative news is because of something that happened in his personal life. And yesterday we saw that when you can't control your emotions like that, it can hinder one of the greatest moments in your life. Finally, he won an Oscars, and it's tainted because he had other people in his mind and it caused him to be reactive rather than responsive. So with this emotional intelligence law, you want to be one of those people that you're preparing early. You're spending more time dwelling on ideas rather than people. The third emotional intelligence insight is that you never know what someone's hotspot is. See, with Jada Pinkett Smith, I get the whole alopecia thing because every now and then I have certain times where I have spots in my head, I lose hair, and then I have to put a foam to get it back. And there was this one time, I had this one person who was pointing it out. She was right behind me and she was like touching the pointed area and it got under my skin. I got angry. I was like, hey, don't touch me like that. Why are you over here bringing this up in the first place? I was covering it with the other hair. Why are you bringing it up? And it got a reaction out of me. And this is something that got a reaction out of Will Smith because who knows the behind the scenes stuff regarding the alopecia and the medical side of it. I'm not condoning his behavior, by the way, but one of the emotional intelligence insights you want to understand is that not everyone fixes conflicts with words. A lot of people in the real world, not the school world, I'm talking about the world of street smarts, resolves conflicts with fists. And a person who's emotionally intelligent understands this. That's why they understand the power of their words. If you're over here always picking on people, you never know when that quiet person can suddenly get up and hit you. By the way, I'm not condoning Will Smith's behavior at all. I mean, Chris Rock's a comedian. He's over here making fun of everyone. And that's the whole purpose of the opening monologue. So you can make fun of people. But the insight we still want to extract is that you never know which person is capable of violence. And that person can even be you. The fourth insight is something that is a tad bit different. I'm going to be talking about Chris Rock right now. Chris Rock, in my opinion, from the context of his life, showed what it means to be a true professional. Being a professional is a sign of emotional intelligence. Normally, when the average person pictures a person who is a professional, they're picturing someone with a tie and a suit on. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people with a tie and a suit that are not professional. Here's my definition of a professional. I can't tell your emotional state based off of the work that you are doing. Imagine if someone gets done cutting my hair and I look at the mirror and I'm like, oh, you must be having a long day, huh? This person is not a professional because they're having a long day and it clearly shows in my hair. Emotions dictated the action. Not good. Chris Rock, I mean, he had someone slap him on live TV with all these people watching him. He's understanding that this is going to go down in history. But guess what happened? He didn't dwell on this moment for a long time. Instead, he went right back to doing his job. that's emotional intelligence for the world to see. And what Chris Rock showed was thick skin. I made an in-depth video in regards to thick skin. I'll go ahead and link it in the description box. And I talked about the 3 different paths you can do to build thick skin. 1 is to do difficult activities. 2 is to do nothing. If someone says something bad to you, you do absolutely nothing. And this will over time build thick skin. And the 3rd is what Chris Rock displayed yesterday: humor. When you use humor strategically, it diffuses the entire situation. I mean, even right now, a lot of people don't know if the whole thing was staged or if it was real, because Chris Rock did such a fantastic job transitioning back to being a professional. He was making jokes. And when you make jokes, it's so much easier to be thick-skinned and to control your emotions. So overall, I mean, there's a lot of emotional intelligence insights that you can learn from this moment. But the key thing that you want to understand is that those who do not control their emotions will eventually be controlled by their emotions, and then they're going to do something that they regret. Emotions come and go, but the consequences can come and stay. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure you hit that subscribe right on below, because I drop routine content on how you can build your emotional intelligence so you are carrying yourself like a winner. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you another time.